dude, the CEO or the editor-in-chief for Sports Illustrated should go and thank Jordan Peterson. They probably haven't had that many clicks in ages. For fuck's sake, I clicked on it. I was like, whoa, oh shit, the swimsuit edition is out. Let's see what's going on here. I want to see who the woman is that he thinks is not attractive. Of course I'm going to do that. You know?
It is. So, it is. You're so right, man. Like, they must be split testing what gets the most clicks for this. The fashion companies that are using plus size models, you'll notice that they never use skinny fat guys. So they'll have normal dudes. Oh my God. Did you see this the other day? So it was so funny. One of my guy mates tweeted this from the UK about how it was different types of underwear. One was for men and one was for women. And the women was women of all sizes. And the dudes were shredded out of existence. And it was just like a comparison of the women's underwear and the guys' underwear. And all of the guys were absolutely ripped.
Bro, that kind of sucks, dude. That kind of sucks. Like,
stopping it there and welcome to Mika Reacting Reviews, reacting to things on the internet. Same day, same shirt, different video. And today we're returning to a fellow member of the Manosphere community. I forget his name, I'll put it on the screen here. But anyway, they're going to be talking about the different modern day beauty standards between men and women and how they are not indeed equal. And I think they started off with the whole Dr. Jordan Peterson debacle, where Dr. Jordan Peterson commented on the Sports Illustrated plus size swimsuit model and said, "This is not beautiful." And again, I still believe, and I think he's already spoken about this, that he didn't mean her personally. He just meant the idea of trying to make being unhealthy a beautiful and just accepted thing, and how that's kind of shoved down our throats. And I agree. I believe Sports Illustrated numbers have been dropping, and so like a lot of companies, they just thought if we go woke, then that would fix it, but that's usually not the case. But however, for Sports Illustrated, maybe it didn't actually help it because people are going to go see what the model he's talking about. However, they could just go look at Dr. Jordan Peterson's tweet, really. But anyway, we're going to get right back into it. But before you do, if you like type of videos, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below and sometimes in the comment section. Of course it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below and links to all of the alternative platforms I'm on, my socials, including my Twitter, all the ways to support me, and other ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. Other than that, sit back, relax, and continue to enjoy the video. Alright, here we go.
Look, I guess maybe it's not masculine of me, but to have that be the standard for men and to not be like, hey, it's acceptable for a man to do that, because, hey, look, like, someone, said this the other day, and it was a woman. She said, like, I sometimes misinterpret this. We can give as much shit as we want to men because they're men. It's like we misinterpret it. It's like they should be able to handle that. We have looked at a society where, we look at through the lens of the quote unquote patriarchy.
Stopping it there. Okay, yes, I totally agree. I feel like, again, feminism, the sort of like ideology of feminism can't really stay consistent. It's like women are just as strong as men, but women also constantly needs to be coddled and stroked, and you are perfect, you are a queen, you're perfect just the way you are, black girl magic, all this stuff. We constantly need to be championed and cheerleadered and flamed and all these things. Like, every obstacle needs to be bulldozed out of our way, but we're just as strong as men. It really doesn't, that philosophy really isn't consistent. And it's also not consistent for men, because they say we want men to be more like women and more sensitive and more open-minded and more in touch with their feelings, but then we just throw a bunch of shit at them and be like, well, you should just be able to take it, you're a man. Like, the feminism philosophy today, modern day feminism, isn't consistent. And honestly, I feel like it's almost like the same thing as bigotry and low expectations. Like, you lower the standards for women. Like, you don't really have to try that hard because you're beautiful just the way you are. But for men, we still want you ripped. We still want you looking good. We still want you over 6 feet tall. We still want you making more than 6 figures and all these things. And we might be okay with a dead bod or two. But other than that, you still have to look the same. And you even see articles where, like, the plus size women will say like expecting fat women to date other fat men is fat phobia. Fat women want ripped guys too, but like they can just be fat. Like it's just like the standards are completely different and lowered for women, which isn't good in the long term for women. You should be encouraging women to take care of themselves. I've always felt like the same way. It's like you have girls who literally know how to do, I don't have no idea how to do this, and I wouldn't want to even take the time to do it, but like know how to do their makeup to a point where they literally change the structure of their fucking faces. You know, put all the falsities all over, like false eyelashes, false hair, false, you know, putting implants in their, not like in their ass, but like putting those pads in your pants, putting the pads in your boobs, you know, sticking your boobs up, and all these different things to try to make yourself look good, putting on things that cinch your waist in. But then you also say men should just accept you for the way you are. Like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, if you believe that, then why are you doing all these things? You know, putting all these constant filters on and all these things to try to cover what you look like, but say we should just be accepted the way we look, right? And then if a man calls that out, then they're a terrible person. If a man says, like, oh my God, I thought she looked beautiful, but she did all these things to manipulate her looks to make herself look good, and then he gets chastised or he gets burned at the stake, instead of looking at the woman and saying, well, you obviously thought you were ugly too. You obviously wasn't confident in your own looks or beauty if you had to do all these things to change your looks. There's nothing wrong with highlighting things, highlighting your cheekbones if you have high cheekbones, highlighting your lips if you have nice lips, but when you literally do things that make yourself look like you have things that you don't have, then you obviously think you're ugly too. So like, you can't get mad if someone else thinks you're unattractive if you too think you're unattractive to manipulate yourself to make yourself look a certain way. Okay, I went on a whole fucking rant. We're getting back in the video.
This idea that, you know, this woman had brought this to my attention. She's like, you know, I do tend to just not really give as much of a shit about men's feelings, because it's always we are worried about women's feelings, and a lot of times we can brush it off, and that is a mistake that I've made, and I try not to make anymore. And you know, it's the same thing here. It's like, well, we have to absolutely worry about body dysmorphia in men, because the moment that men begin to think that their bodies aren't as acceptable as they could or should be, they can develop problems that, you know, they usher out into real life. I mean, we've seen this in bodybuilding, in my world, in fitness. Like, the people that are constantly commenting on another dude's body, like, they do have problems within their own worlds. This isn't just men towards women. It could be women towards women or men towards other men, and it happens a lot of men towards other men.
But dude,
but I mean he's right. Like, it's always intercommunal, right? It's like women always say, like, we are living under a patriarchal or misogynist idea of beauty. But women are the ones who attack other women the most about their looks, right? And most guys, like, women are very detailed. So women can look at another woman and say, she looks good because this, and this, and this, and this. She's done this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this to look good. Most guys, if they're not into fashion or makeup or whatever, most guys just look at a woman and go, she just looks good. Like, maybe they can pick out a couple of things, like she has nice tits and ass, but like most of the time they just look at the overall picture and says, she just looked good, right? So women are the ones who would nitpick other women about what they've done to themselves to beautify themselves or not, or the lack thereof. But then the feminists will say, well, that's just because women have internalized misogyny or patriarchy, because even though we're just as strong as men, women can never take accountability for their own actions, their own thoughts, and their own beliefs. It's always like a product of internalized something, right? And I guess the same thing for men. Men will pick on other men for their body types or whatever. And I do believe that men also struggle with body image. I actually dated a guy that I'm pretty sure he had anorexia. Like, he would always check to make sure he can see his ribs. If he didn't, he would be like, I'm getting fat or whatever. However, I've also seen in the red pill community where they kind of make fun of men who talk about mental health or their emotions or depression or anxiety as, you're just weak, you just need to take accountability. So I see it on both sides, not being, like, men's mental health not really being talked about or taken care of. The only person I really see tackle that the most is Dr. Jordan Peterson. So men, do you feel like you are able to talk about these things with your other male friends or male spaces, or do you think talking about your mental health or if you have body images issues, it just gets sort of laughed at and like you're just weak, you should just deal with it kind of thing? Anyway, let's continue.
Think about what we said on the last one, which is slut shaming. The amount of slut shaming that goes from women to women, the amount of people who are anti-abortion or pro-life. By and large, it's women. The vast majority of comments that are done about other women's appearance is done from women to women. And yeah, like, this is where the whole battle of the genders thing...
Yeah, it can't just be this thing where it's like men...
versus women, or women versus women.
Or women versus men. It really is problematic. And it's so fucking weird. It's like I had this realization on TikTok. Because it's like the Gen Z kids, the kiddos out there. Like, you're noticing a lot of women who are just like, they're playing on it. They're not actually serious, but they always vocalize it. It's like having a crush on a woman now. Like, women are much more vocal about being sexually interested in other women because of their disdain for men in general. Because we have the men versus girls versus... men versus girls versus whatever. You know, that war going on between the two of them, it's just so apparent.
I mean, I definitely agree with him that women are more allowed or given a license to sexualize other women more than men do, and even sexualize men. The amount of times I've been out with my girlfriends and seen girls grab men's asses, grab men's crotch, you know, take their arm and squeeze their arm and rub their chest and rub their six packs. Women are giving the free range to do that, and men can't do that back to women at all. So yes, unequal. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, I not all the time, but occasionally throw up a picture of someone, a female that I think is hot or gorgeous, and I'm like, oh, my girl crush or whatever. I never get pushed back by that, because a lot of the pictures I will put up there are sensual pictures, and no one ever is like, oh my god, you're sexualizing this woman or anything like that. I don't do it out of this disdain for men. I just do it because I think this woman is actually really hot. But do I think there's a portion of, like, even my generation and Gen Z who will play gay or play bi just because they don't really like men or they don't want to be into men? Yes, definitely. Oh, and also I like how you pointed out that a lot of people who are pro-life are actually women, because like the narrative is like, it's just a bunch of right old men. There's actually a lot of women who are actually pro-life. And the whole slut shaming. I feel like women definitely slut shame other women for sure, even if they're also sluts. But I feel like both sides slut shame, because I feel like it's the most low-hanging fruit sort of insult you can throw at a woman. Even if you have no idea what her sexual history is, throwing out whore is just like the big, like, it's just easy to throw out, and you hoping that the insult will just stick. Anyway, let's continue.
And the same could be said on the opposite side. Like the idea of, oh, she's for the streets. You know what I mean? Like,
what's that mean?
It's like if a woman, you know, does something that's slutty, she's for the streets.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Pick your head up, king. Like, focus on yourself. Type of shit.
Yeah.
That's like the meme language that kind of surrounds it. And they both have their flaws, you know. But it's always for me. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because, like, I don't see that changing. And I think you told me this before, like, that's where you have your issue, Zach, is that you call to action a culture shift, which is just like an almost impossible task.
Yes.
I do that a lot on my videos. I go, oh, I wish as a culture we could do this thing better. Or I'm pointing out this flaw in some sort of fitness charlatan, and I'm wishing that we could do this thing better. And for some reason, I forget what your point was or who brought it to your attention, but it's like, calling to action this massive cultural shift is not always the answer. It's not even remotely the answer. It will never work.
I just don't think that it's realistic, because you don't have like a God's eye coordination for this. You know, what you would need to do would be able to sit everybody down and say, look, here are some interesting insights, guys and girls, about where you think your oppression or your vulnerability or your difficulties come from. And a lot of them are calls that are coming from inside of your own fucking house, right? Women who will, for the most part, presume that, I would guess if you were to do a survey of women, they would think that slut shaming, anti-abortion rhetoric, and body shaming mostly comes from men. It doesn't. It comes from women. And guys, Like, most of the guys that are having the piss taken out of them about the way that they look or about how strong they are, about how noodly their arms are and stuff, that it's not girls that are saying that. It's your bros. It's your bro friends or the people that aren't even your friends, right? Like, that's where the vast majority of attention... But this gender war thing that we've got that's going on at the moment, it gets clicks, right? Because it creates an easy in-group and out-group. You know, maybe after race, it's the most prevalent and most obvious in-group and out-group that there is.
Yeah, and then, you know, you would assume that is part of like the, you know, the non-binary discussion as well. You can create in-group, out-group easily there.
Well, there's a million different in-groups and out-groups if you do that. What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that...
All right, so yeah, I think he's right. I think the culture can shift because the culture is always shifting and swinging. What I don't think is going to happen is we're going to go backwards. This idea that we're going to go back to the 1950s and put all women back in the kitchen and barefoot, and we're all men are all of a sudden going to be able to afford a housewife and be able to afford to live on one income and all this stuff. Never going to happen. The box has been open. You're never going to put it all back in. You're not going to give women the autonomy and the education and the freedom and open all these doors for them and say, nope, slam them all closed. They're terrible for you. They're ruining you. Go back into that's never going to happen. I think people need to do adjust to what culture is now instead of bitching about what it is today. But also, you can sort of push it and swing it in another direction so it can make it more balanced, right? So if a man wants to be a house husband, he can do that without being crucified. Or if he wants to be the head of the house, he can do that without being crucified as being toxic. If a woman wants to be a housewife, she can do that without being crucified. Or if she wants to be a career woman, she can do that without being crucified and being told she's going to die alone and then motherless and buy herself a Catwoman or whatever, right? People should be able to live their lives how they want without being crucified for their life choices, like we're doing today. I like what he talked about, how these gender war things and race war things and all this stuff is just easy clickbait, because a lot of people, I think, do a lot of videos talking about the problem and never the solution, because it's just easier. It's easier to do that to talk about the solution. And it's my same problem with the feminist movement. It's my same issue sometimes with the red pill movement, where all it does is take the worst type of people and keep pointing them out, keep pointing them out, keep pointing them out. Okay, what is the solution? Like, how do you bring people together? Because if you just have a giant population of men and a giant population of women who hate each other and can't coexist, that doesn't really help society. That doesn't really help community at all. Telling one population, you're wrong, it's all your fault, and vice versa, no one's going to listen to each other. So what do? Like, we need to come together instead of this pointing fingers, it's your fault, you're dumb, you don't know what you're doing, you're ruining to society, whatever. That's never really going to help the situation, and I feel like most people just focus on that because that just gets easier clicks, right? And I also like how he pointed out that, like feminism, a lot of these male groups kind of do the same thing. Like, she's for the streets, you're the king, you're the prize, and the same thing that feminism do. It's like, it's the same rhetoric, just different sexes. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think in this comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm. If you'd like to support the channel further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand merch shop, links down below, and links to all of the internal platforms on my socials. Other ways to support me and other ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle. I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link. Go subscribe to my travel vlog channel and follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye.